Last week, I dove into the repair, smashed my knuckles on the very first bolt, but continued with the removal of the driveline transmission brake, jacked up the rig, pulled out a few bolts, did some grinding, removed that stubborn piece, and waited for the new one to arrive from Amazon.
Good morning, friends. It is Friday morning, about 9 a.m. And so I have the part and also bought some gasket material. So I was not able to locate this gasket. And so we are going to make our own gasket. I've never done that before, so that'll be kind of a cool experience and a good thing to add to the skill set, knowing how to build a gasket. So that's what we're gonna do today. Just get it done, start attacking it. So let's go, let's dig in. So here is the old piece, the old e-brake. Here's the new transmission brake, nice and shiny. And I went ahead and I was able to peel the gasket off with a razor blade. So this was off the old piece. We're gonna have to make a gasket for this one, but now I can use this as a template. Now, one thing I noticed right off the bat is this piece spins freely, which to me kind of makes sense. You know, there's no brake applied, it just spins, it feels nice and smooth. This piece does not spin, it's like tight. And so I'm a little curious about that.
So I bought the gasket material at Napa. It comes in a roll. It feels like a really heavy construction paper. It was really easy to trace out the template and then cut it with a pair of scissors. I bought this adhesive called Permatex, and so you just brush that onto the bare metal where the gasket's going to go. It just holds the gasket in place while you assemble it. Once it's assembled in place, then the glue doesn't really matter anymore. So we let it sit for about 10 minutes for it to cure. Then we placed the gasket on and then went ahead and hoisted the component up into place and started with reassembly. Again, I was super grateful to have the help of my family. This piece was really heavy. It took all three of us to get it properly aligned and get the bolt started. Could not imagine doing this by myself. Then Dad kind of helped me just get all the bolts done. It was slow moving. We were doing like quarter turns at a time. So this was actually the most time consuming part of the whole job, was just getting the bolts back into place and hand tightening them. But otherwise, everything went together simply, didn't run across any snags or any unexpected issues. Overall, it was a smooth install.
Everything's together, vehicle's on. We're in neutral, so we're gonna go ahead and put it in reverse, and we're gonna see if this thing moves. All right, well, so far so good. We're moving, we're backed out. That was my biggest concern, is that part might have been frozen up, but that does not appear to be the case. We're gonna try to listen for clanking. All right, well, wow, initial test drive is very positive. I feel great. I don't hear any noise. It shifts easily. I don't hear any clanking, no grinding. So I'm gonna take it back and park it. We're gonna attach the emergency brake line. And so then we'll go on a real test drive. We'll take it out on the highway. We'll hit 60 miles an hour and make sure the whole thing don't blow up on us. It made it down the hill. So far, so good. I got cousin Lonnie behind me. Figured since he was coming to town, I'd go with him. That way, in case anything happens, at least I got a support vehicle. So here's an update. I drove the van all the way into town. It's an 8-mile drive. I got about 6 miles in and I heard the dreaded clank. Now, it wasn't nearly as bad as it was before. And this time, I've heard it now. Now I'm on my way back to the camp and I've heard it, you know, just a handful of times. And it seems like it's only doing it when I'm slowing down or when I'm like coming to a stop or when I'm taking off from a stop. Before, it was doing it just constantly, and it sounded like a tornado down there. So it's way better. It's not nearly what it was, but I still have a little bit of an issue. So I find it interesting. It makes me wonder, like, if I had multiple issues, or like one failure might have caused the failure of another part or something, but it's still got a little bit of a clink. And so I looked on YouTube. There's one more thing I'm gonna try out. I have a 2-piece driveline and there's a splined piece that connects the two, and I looked on YouTube and they said that spline can wear out and it can cause issues. So that's what we're gonna do. That's the last thing we're gonna do, because beyond that, I have no ideas about what could be wrong with it.
So I pulled the driveline apart. After everything I've done so far, this was like second nature to me. Now this driveline, it's steel and then it has like this synthetic plastic cover on it, but it's supposed to be greased. Everything, all the videos I saw say there should be grease on here. This thing was completely bone dry. The female end of the shaft was also completely bone dry. There was no grease to be found anywhere, which is very strange because I feel like when I paid the mechanic to originally pull the driveline and do the U-joints and the carrier bearing, he should have checked this at least and seen there was absolutely no grease in it. So I find that a little bit strange, but I decided I better go ahead and grease it. And thankfully, Dad, with his RV and all of his numerous parts with him, he actually had some really high-end lithium grease. So that's what we're gonna do. The videos I watched suggested using like a toothbrush and just cleaning out the inside of the female piece just to get any metal bits or residue that might be inside. And I did end up finding a little grease. You can see the napkin here is black. There was a small amount of grease inside, so I cleaned that out. Now the new grease we're using is lithium and it's white, like frosting, and so they said it doesn't mix well with the OEM grease, so we want to go ahead and clean it out and get all the old stuff off. Now again, I'm just working off the instructions from YouTube University, but the mechanic in the videos, he coated the thing so heavy. He's like, cake it up like you're frosting a cake. So that's what I did. I just smothered it in grease, both the male splines and also the female splines. I caked it on, and I did so much that when I slid it together and locked it into place, a whole bunch of it popped out the end. So I have no doubts now. The thing is totally greased. So I went ahead and reassembled it and took it for its final test drive. So I've had a few times when I use my GoPro that the audio just doesn't record. And this is one of those times. I literally downloaded the footage and the audio track is just blank. So this is just me driving it down the hill, going into town again, another 8 miles. And so far so good. On this trip, I didn't hear any noises, no bumps or grinding or anything. So I'm hoping I finally got it fixed. At this point, we've been at this camp for 2 weeks and I'm ready to get a move on. So now we're leaving camp and we're heading out to Heron Lake to hopefully have some fun.